Most people are stuck in a system designed to work harder and not smarter. We're here to expose the strategies, the loopholes and the life hacks the 1% use. This is universal basic knowledge.
What if I told you that instead of cars being a liability, you could turn them into income-generating assets, especially in tourist cities? This is the rental arbitrage strategy that the smart money are using right now. The constant, cars lose value over time, and most people are stuck making payments on something that just sits in their driveway. But in the right city, during peak travel seasons, that same car could be making $1,500, $3,000, even $10,000 a month or more. So in cities like Miami, LA, Vegas, Honolulu, Hawaii, etc., these are the excellent places to be able to take advantage of this, especially with exotic cars. There are other markets out there where it could be very interesting for you to also do something like this in colder weather climates like Aspen, etc. And in many cases, you can also have this working in smaller cities, but you may want to check out specifically what cars are going to do well there. So not necessarily every market has the market to do this with exotic cars. You may be better off doing it with everyday cars that are just going to be used way more often. So it really depends on the market itself, but there's a lot of opportunity in this space, and we're going to go through an example here. So here's the move. You list your vehicle or fleet on platforms like Turo or Getaround. You target high demand cities during peak travel months, and then you stack protections like commercial insurance, drive screening, and security tech. This is probably the most important area for you to realize that if someone takes this car and they drive through tolls, I actually had a situation with a friend that was doing this, and we had someone that just kept not paying for the tolls. There was an address change that happened when we bought this vehicle, and we didn't get that, and then we had a $10,000 toll bill. It was a complete mess. It took us almost a year to get it resolved. And so there are dark sides to this scenario, and you definitely want to be focused on preventing those. So things like drive screening, the security tech, ensuring that you know that your insurance is covering on this is super important. Another thing that you want to think about is while you're buying these vehicles, you want to buy vehicles that have warranty in them. So in some cases, you can also buy cars that have a warranty for another 3 or 4 years, unlimited miles, unlimited warranty. So you're not really going to have any breakdown costs on this vehicle. And so there's a bunch of ways to do that. So we're going to go through that as well. But most importantly, you need to run this like a business. So let's break it down here. We're going to run through some examples here of how this could be a really interesting strategy for not only you creating a side business that allows you to make some extra money, but also being able to drive the cars of your dream, right? And it could be anywhere that you were wanting to get started. It could be something that is on the, as low as $20,000, $10,000, etc., to higher end vehicles that are $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. And there's ways for you to do this while still being able to drive these cars on the off days or for special occasions for yourself. There's a lot of specialists that specifically focus on teaching you how to do this. That's not one of our specialties of doing that. We just want to drive awareness for this, which is why I'm breaking this down and something that I've considered doing in my spare time, over the years. So here's an example of someone that bought a Ford Mustang. This person purchased this car for $22,000 as a whole, and they were able to yield out about $19,000 in profit a year from this vehicle. So essentially, it's almost a 1-year payoff of the entire car in that first year. So even after all these miles, because that's what people often look like, it's like, oh, you're gonna put so much wear and tear on that vehicle, you're gonna put all these miles, the car's not gonna be worth anything. I mean, this car is not gonna be worth $3,000 after a year, even if you put on a ton of miles, right? You're gonna obviously lose a little bit of value, but you are not gonna lose 90%, right? So that's just the first example. So in this case, this car costs $22,000. It rents out in the market for $85 a day, right? And the average occupancy of this car is 20 out of the 30 days of the month. You can't assume that your car is going to be rented out 100% of the time. This is a pretty good occupancy rate, around 66%. And so every month, this person is earning around $2,000 a month, right? And if you look, if they made $19,000 in profits, there's some expenses there. It seems like, so, that was $24K that they earned throughout the year. and then about 20% in expenses that they had to deal with. That could be insurance, that could be a variety of things, and they made $19,000 in profit. After 2 years, you're essentially completely covered on this car in terms of revenue. In some cases, some of these cars may come with warranty and other things of that nature, so you always want to be able to take advantage of that. And then you sell the vehicle, and any upside that you get to keep. So let's just play that out. So say that he does another, that's year 1, and then year 2 does the same thing, and so they make another $19,000. And so now, over the course of the 2 years, they made $38,000. They got to drive this car for 4 months out of the year themselves. If it's a car that they want to actually drive, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. But you basically have $38,000 in profit that you made. Your cost is $22,000. And so essentially you have $14,000 in profit, but then we have to add back in that this car has a resale value, right? So even if, worst case scenario, this car is now worth $11,000, right? So we're gonna add that back in, net, $25,000 in profit, over 2 years with just one vehicle, right? So this is why you can see that some people do this for a fleet of cars. So where I think the biggest opportunity is for this specific hack is where you can actually own some of these cars that sometimes seem out of reach for most people. It could be, something like a G-Wagon. It could be something like a Ferrari. It could be a Lamborghini. It could be these cars that are $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. Now, when people see you driving one of those, obviously that's super expensive, and we've done videos in the past of how to hack this and not lose any value in it. But another way to actually be able to do this and do it with a couple different cars, if you really want to, is to also do the same strategy. So you buy these vehicles, you pay that price, you make sure that the car is under warranty. That's the one difference that you want to make here, because if something breaks on that exotic car, it's going to be quite expensive. So you want to ensure that you're covered under warranty over a period of 1 or 2 years. But now everything that happens with that car is a business expense. If it breaks, it's a business expense. You can write it off. So if you have that under an LLC and you're making income in other places, that's a great way to be able to lower the cost of having a super high-end ultra car and essentially have it be profitable, or at least revenue neutral, in that sense. So this is a great opportunity, especially if you're open to renting it out for 1 or 2 weeks out of the month. And the numbers really do shake out. We're gonna link some videos of people doing this for those cars that specialize in this for you to take a look at. If that's interesting for you, we're not getting paid from those people at all. It's just content that we found interesting. And if you're interested in taking advantage of this, please check it out. While most people are stuck paying for their cars month after month, others are getting paid by theirs. Car rental arbitrage is one of the simplest cash flow hacks out there, and with the right strategy, you can own the car of your dreams. You can get it paid off after 1 year and turn it into a cash flowing asset, not just one time, but multiple times over. If this sounds interesting to you, join our free community. You don't need to be rich to live like the 1%. You just need to learn what they do. This is universal basic knowledge.